Well, hey, Bill, how's it going?
I'm glad to be back in the saddle, Garrett.
Hey, we're here on episode 1 of season 4 of the guest list. Can you believe it? We're at season 4.
Man, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. It's been a long wait.
Yeah, we started last season about this time, and it went all the way up until June into July.
Into
And
July, yeah.
Then we took a little break for Summer Sundown and Little Grassy Get Down, and here we are. We're launching this thing, and we're going to have episodes every 2 weeks for the wintertime and for the springtime, and we're glad to have you back. This week we have the Local Honeys, and this was recorded live in front of our Sunday audience at Summer Sundown Music Festival. The band headlined the night before on Saturday, and we sat on the shady stage for a late afternoon set, and the weather was perfect. We had a hearty crowd there on Sunday, and for our very first outdoor guest list and our very first full band guest list. And boy, what a great episode.
Yeah, it was a really fun part of the festival, I thought. I think people really enjoyed it that were there. And we were worried about a lot of things that didn't come true because we've never done it before. We're like exposed to the elements and boat traffic and things like that,
Sure.
So, but it worked out really good.
So yeah, you're going to hear a little wind in the leaves. You're going to hear, people sound checking on the other stage. It's like you feel like you're sitting in the crowd at Summer Sundown Sunday. So this is going to be a fun episode. So we wanted to dig a little bit into how we thought it went before the episode starts here. And man, what were your thoughts? You seemed like you might have been taking it all in. And when you hear back on the episode, maybe the full band outdoor atmosphere was messing with you a little bit.
Well, it was hard for me because I couldn't hear the lyrics very well, and that's just a function of. And part, I think there were no monitors going for one thing. I could be wrong about that, but I had a hard time understanding the words that they were singing, and so that made it hard for me, and it made me nervous. Like here I'm supposed to be like talking about the songwriting, and I can't hear the words.
Well, one thing about that is they have very unique voices, the Local Honeys, Montana Hobbs and Linda Jean Stokley. Not only are they singing really cool folk inspired rock tunes, they are digging into the regional culture of East Kentucky.
Yeah.
Uncovering songs of their region that people wrote 100 years ago plus, and adding that warble to their voice that makes it sound like it's from a freaking coal mine is what they sound like when they sing. Like
they sound legit for sure.
And they went to school for this stuff. They went to folk school at Morehead State.
Right.
And they take music seriously at that school. So these gals, when you hear them, it's kind of a lot to take in at first because they do have all that sound going on. And my brain spends a lot of time thinking about how do we feel like we're listening to music from 1895 and 2025.
And they incorporated a lot of newer technology, electric guitars and things like that, and sounds that we expect to hear in rock and roll with that. And that was a cool development, I thought.
She's playing a 1950s pre-Gibson Les Paul kind of guitar. Can't remember exactly what it's called. Through all these cool swirly effects and through a Princeton reverb that's just like probably from the 1960s. So she's like playing really high-tech, high-class instruments, and they all are. Their instrumentation is spot on, and you guys, you might have to listen to this one 2 or 3 times to really get the full effect of their music because it is so much cool stuff going on.
There's a lot going on, many layers happening right there. So
harmonies, banjos, great drummer that's just keeping it rocking the whole time. But the real cool part about it is the stories behind their songs. So
yeah,
you'll learn a lot about where they get their inspiration. And
it was the first time we've had somebody play somebody else's song on the podcast, and maybe we didn't make that clear that it was meant to be about their songwriting, but it didn't bother me. It's
their most popular songs.
Yeah,
and what they do as the Local Honeys is take covers and make them new again. So that is an interesting thing that their most 2 of them I think were covers.
The first 2, yeah.
But covers in a way that is different than I think they're interpreting them more than covering. I would call it.
Yeah.
They change the lyrics, they change the chords, they update them for modern times, and that's how the Local Honeys do it.
They told some great stories too, which was fun. Like they told some of the stories behind the songs and in depth that we don't often get. So I
And
appreciate that.
these guys, they're working hard as can be. They're up at the Rose Bowl this past Sunday. They're at Hangar 9 on this upcoming Thursday. If you listen to this show when it first comes out, they'll be at Hangar 9 in Carbondale, Illinois on November 14th on a Thursday. And then they'll be at Duke's in Indy coming up soon. That's a sold-out show at Duke's Indy. And they never quit touring, I don't think.
They just go and go. Yeah, it's going to be a great episode.
So, yeah, check it out. Tell a friend about the guest list, and we got a bunch more episodes coming up. We've got a bunch of shows coming up, too, for Pos Music Works this fall. We'll tell you all about it, along with kicking off our 2025 end-of-year fundraiser. But right now, live from Summer Sundown 2025, it's the local honeys on the guest list.
Welcome to the guest list, presented by Pos Music Works, a 501c3 not-for-profit bringing music and musical events to downstate Illinois. We'll talk to songwriters and learn about what makes them tick and how they came to write their most popular songs. It's where you've always wanted to be, on the guest list. Here's your host, Bill Pos.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of season 4 of the Guest List podcast. Wow, what a robust response we're getting here. This is fantastic. This is our very first festival on location performance or taping of the podcast. And so thank you very much to the local honeys for being willing to take part in this experiment. Glad you're here. We saw your set last night on the main stage. It was fantastic. Right? Did some of you guys get to hear that? I was hanging out a little bit afterwards in the green room, and we were celebrating a lovely event. And so thanks to all of you who have come to the Summer Sundown Music Festival here in Effingham, Illinois, beautiful Lake Sara. Right now, how about a big warm welcome for the local honeys?
lost me near, and they did, they did, they did. I've been as far in hyperspace as anybody can. I've traveled on the time warp of the Psycho's brain. They say a gal must travel for to find her Superman. And I did, I did, I did. And I did, I did, I did. And I did, I did, I did.
So I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not accustomed to this atmosphere for the podcast. I'm having a harder time hearing the words than I normally do because I'm normally sitting on a stage like in a side somewhere. So I could not hear all the words. I will tell you in advance. I mean, we didn't talk about this in advance because that's part of the show. we just talk about it here. But no, it had a very traveling kind of a feel to it. And did you write that together or?
This is one that we did not write. A lot of what Montana and I do is, we dig up a lot of songs that maybe have never really had the chance to have a bit of fresh breath.
Okay.
Kind of put back in there, and we dig up a lot of old songs, especially songs from our region, but then we also write as well. But that is a song that we learned from Peggy Seeger and Ewan McCall. They wrote it in the 70s for a space opera.
Wow.
And then Shirley Collins, who's like the folk mother of English folk music, she had translated that song onto the banjo and made her own version of the song. And so we learned it by way of Shirley Collins. Shirley Collins is basically like England's Jean Ritchie, very similar, like a tradition bearer, but also brought new things to the table and made a voice for women, a platform for women. But that's kind of one of the more like silly songs, and we thought, well, that's such a cool song, and who don't like outer space?
Well, I was catching on to that.
And the cosmics, it's just got such like fun language, and it's just the imagery on it is really pretty. And we thought, well, that'd be really funny to make like a kind of a spaghetti western country hillbilly silly song out of it.
So did you? I mean, the music already existed, so you already had a framework to work with.
We had we knew the chords that had been put behind it, and then we also kind of made some slight changes to that as well. But
it was a minor key song.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that feel like? But it has a kind of a travel, like as I was saying earlier, a traveling feel, and the music that you provide to it definitely it adds to that. Is that how it originally existed, or?
It originally existed with, I believe, an orchestration of a pit, like an orchestra pit through a play series. So I've never actually heard those recordings, except for maybe like one time. And there's a much longer space voyage that happened in the original recording, and then Shirley Collins had kind of pieced it together and made it into the framework, and we took the lyrics from the Shirley Collins version.
Okay, very cool. All right, well, I'll get out of the way and let you play another song here.
Right. We're flying by the seat of our ass, is how they say it, right? Is that how that goes? We got some tuning to do.
got a pinched nerve in his neck, rocking back and forth through the shuttle cars. He's rolling towards a nervous wreck. Way down in the hole where he earns his pay, it's dark and unforgiving. Digging his skull, digging his grave, he's dying to make a living. He's dying to make a living. He don't like walking this way, but it's lucky he's walking at all. Doctor said he's 5'8", but he used to stand 6 foot tall. Got a bone from his hip and his lower back, got screws in both his legs. Takes cheap work 'cause he's gotta have cash, now he's gotta have credit stash. Way down in the hole where he earns his pay, it's dark and unforgiving. Digging his skull, digging his grave, he's dying to make a living. He's dying to make a living. He don't like living this way, but it's lucky he's living it all. 35 years as a black jewel slave, praying that the roof don't fall. Got 2 heavy eyes and 3 slip discs, sleeps with a metal spine. Daydreams fade on the hoot owl ship when you work down in the mine. Way down in the hole where he earns his pay, it's dark and unforgiving. Digging his skull, digging his grave, he's dying to make a living. He's dying to make a living. He's dying, trying to make a living too.
What's that called?
Dying to make a living.
Okay. I thought maybe Down in the Hole would be a good name for that one too. But, so was that one that you wrote, or?
Sadly, no. Those are both songs that I wish I had written.
Well,
which is
I
something
got a lot of
that
those.
you encounter, you know.
Sure.
But that's a song that our buddies wrote in Southwest Virginia. There's a band called Fodder Shock that's kind of regionally beloved.
Okay.
And they're absolutely incredible. It's kind of the brainchild between these two folks, WV and AK. WV Hill and AK Mullins, and they're dear friends, and they had a band called Fodder Shock, which, you know what a fodder shock is?
No.
You know, like when old women cut down stalks of corn after it's, season's over, and they tie it into a bundle and stick it up against a fence post or something like that, and call it decor. That's a fodder shock, which I think is equally like the most metal and also the most like hillbilly ass name for anything. And so
Yeah.
they're dear friends, and that they wrote that song, and Montana and I started really singing it. You know, we've always admired their music, and they had I guess it was 2019, down in Harlan County, USA.
Right.
In Cumberland, Kentucky, there was a mining blockade. I don't know if you all caught that on the news, but there was a coal company that was operational in eastern Kentucky and several places, like under the big Black Jewel umbrella across the entire nation. And they had gone bankrupt, and they didn't tell anybody that worked for this company, which is some absolute horseshit. And so they were going to wait till they got one more day out of them before they let them know. And a couple of folks had caught wind right before they had finished their shift, and about 1 or 2 o'clock, these 5 men walked out of the Clover Lick number 3 mine, and they blocked a train car full of $1 million worth of coal, dropping the bucket in the coal game, and they would not let CSX pull that train car out of there and haul that coal out of the mountain to power the rest of the world as a statement. Eventually, they let CSX pull out their engine, but they guarded that train. They guarded that train car until every single person across the United States that operated under the Black Jewel framework got paid their dues. They sat out there for months and months and months through a hot, muggy Kentucky summer, And so this is a way that we showcase the music of our friends from our beautiful region. And it's also a way that we can still talk about how kick-ass Kentuckians are, and they fight for their own.
Yeah.
And it was a peaceful way of promoting and creating change and demanding what they were owed. And so we're just
taking a stand in a way that's actually productive.
Yeah. And it's incredibly prideful as Kentuckians. We're prideful to a fault, but when shit like that happens, we're like, that's our boys, that's our boys. And we were just very proud of the way that they handled that and got not only the people from their region, but the people all across the United States that are mining bituminous coal paid what they were owed. So just very proud.
I noticed last night that you paired that with the L&N Don't Stop Here Anymore. Gene Ritchie, as you mentioned, Gene Ritchie's song. A song I've been playing for 20 years on my aside from y'all. But
I'm glad that you picked up on that. That is for a reason.
Yeah, well, it was a perfect pairing. Yeah, really it meshed nicely. So let's talk about the next song before you do it. So that
Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
Well, just tell me what it is and name of it maybe and what it's about.
The name of it is called Better Than I Deserve. It's an original song. It's on our latest album, which was our latest album is called The Local Honeys. I know that's kind of out of left field, but we were kind of like, well, I guess everybody's got to have a self-titled record, and so it made sense because this was our first really like going whole hog into doing a songwriting album.
Okay.
So this was one that was not necessarily written for that album, but and it's about my papaw. I wrote it about my papaw. His name was Cliff Riffle, and he passed away a long time ago. He passed away in 2006, but like you're a songwriter, and you'll tell something or somebody will tell you something. I mean, they'll chase you down and be like, you ought to write a song about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I wish it was that easy. Like I can't just make something up about every little thing. But this was one that I've told myself for years, like I should write a song about my papaw because he had a pretty incredible life. He was born and raised in West Virginia, and he was one of about 8 kids. And their parents tragically died, and within about 6 months of one another. The mother died first, and then 6 months later, the father died. And this was during the Great Depression, so there was like 8 kids, and they all got separated. They all got sent to go live with an aunt down the road, or a church member, or a neighbor, or just whoever would take them. Nobody could take on 8 kids all at once during the Great Depression. So my papa didn't grow up with his siblings. And so he got sent to go live with an aunt, and he said she was mean as hell. I've heard little stories, and it was very violent and very abusive, and he was young. He was like 8 years old. And so he got tired of it, and he ran away, and he walked, as far as he could or whatever, and he ended up going to a boys' home run by Catholic nuns in West Virginia. And he had never met a Catholic nun. He'd never seen one. So he didn't know really what he was signing up for, I think. I think he just walked in very blind to that. And he said it was awful. Not only were the nuns very strict and, corporal punishment, but also the boys were rough and tumble. They were like fighting to survive. So he ran away from there, and from there he walked into town about like 40 miles or something, and he enlisted in the U.S. Navy at the age of 15. He lied about his age, and
Wow.
he served in World War II. And then he became a U.S. naval pilot, and he flew in World War II, and he got shot down in battle, and he survived the crash into the ocean. His gunner did not. And he floated in the ocean like just on a piece of debris for 4 days and 4 nights.
Wow.
But he was rescued. He said they nearly killed me trying to save me. And then he got to come home. And the better than I deserve part is just that was kind of his mantra. I heard him say it every day of my life, every single day. So when I was kind of writing this history of his early life and his military career, I was like, you got to have a chorus with a hook, that kind of wraps it all up. And then once I basically just thought about my papa and what he said and how he operated, I was like, oh, well, that's it. Obviously, better than I deserve.
Very good. Well, I'm enjoying it. Let's hear this third song. Sweet. And then after that, we'll have a commercial break, and then we'll go from there.
And my papa's name was Cliff Riffle. I always like to say that because I feel like he wants credit where credit's due. So this is for Cliff. 1, 2, 3. When my granddaddy was a boy, he walked for miles and miles from Buchanan to old Jane Lou to find a place to stay a while. It wasn't a home he made his own, the one for wayward boys. Said the food was hard and the women cold, but it's better than I deserve. It's just another place to be alone, another war that can't be won. If I could pull my boots back on, I'd still be left with just the one. But the only truth I've ever known, you can't take it with you when you're gone. An orphan left alone to die, never bothered to lay down and cry. So he packed his grip, he traveled extra light. Said my only plans was for tonight. He was small in his frame, but neither blind nor he lame. So he told the lie that put him in the sky, and Uncle Sam give him a plane. It's just another place to be alone, another war that can't be won. If I could pull my boots back on, I'd still be left with just the one. But the only truth I've ever known, you can't take it with you when you go. In 1945, the shortest gunner down in broad daylight, cried, "Glory be, what a day to die!" But you never had me alive. And after 4 days, he was saved at sea, flown and rattled by the enemy. Took him home to die with some dignity, and that's better than I deserve. It's just another place to be alone, another war that can't be won. If I could pull my boots back on, I'd still be left with just the one. But the only truth I've ever known, you can't take it with you when you're gone. Yeah, the only truth I've ever known, you can't take it with you when you go.
Okay, let's take a little break from the local honeys and talk about our 2025 end of year fundraiser for Paz Music Works. We are going into our big 9th year and year 8. We had a great year of growth as an organization and a ton of amazing events. And all of that is helped, made possible by your donations. So thank you to our donors, to our sponsors, to our grants. And let's talk about what we accomplished this year.
Let's talk about how important these people are who are donating before we do that, because I think that even if we had all the grants and other stuff, just the vote of appreciation and confidence that you provide by sending a donation, even if it's $20 or $30, is valuable to us in a spiritual kind of way. So please keep that in mind as you're making your decisions.
We get a lot of great feedback throughout the year, but there's no greater feedback than your support with $100, $50, 20, 10, whatever you can do. You can go to posmusicworks.com/donate and find out all the different options there are for donating and how to do so. But right now, here's what your donations brought to life in 2025.
All right, Aaron Stravaganza, our winter fundraiser featuring Texas two-step lesson and dance. We had the Little Grassy Winter Songwriter Retreat down in McAnda, Illinois. That was a big hit. That was our best one yet.
Oh, yeah.
Time to Kill Camp Out. Gary, you want to talk about that?
That's turned into an annual kickoff of our outdoor season. It's just usually an album release party. This year we had Nick Gussman and the Coyotes just blow the roof off the place. And
nice.
We're looking forward to doing it again this year.
I have a new
upcoming year.
I have a new album coming out. Maybe we can celebrate that.
Let's do it.
We had Rock for Kids again this year. That was the third year in a row we have supported Rock for Kids. Then, of course, the Moccasin Creek Festival, the very lucky 11th annual Moccasin Creek Festival.
It was a great year.
It sure was. Bernie Sisters outdoor concert in the park. It was those ladies are amazing and impressive, and they're going places.
We had Farmin' on a Friday, which was Chicago Farmer, Jacob Coon's Experience, and Merry Travelers out at the community building at Lake Sara. And that was a great fundraiser that we had and a great new venue for us.
It was just one of the funnest events of the year.
Yeah.
Really, just kind of so laid back.
We let our hair down.
Yeah, we sure did. I had a good time. Then we had the Summer Sundown Music Festival, which this podcast was part of.
Yes, we did.
Then in October, we had the Little Grassy Get Down down in McAnda, down at Touch of Nature, and those folks have really got their stuff together.
Oh,
and
man.
We're working together like a great big old team. So that's a good one.
What a
to
great
have on
show,
your
too.
calendar.
And thank you to everybody who made our 3 festivals this year. There's some people that came to all 3. And
I did.
we need to get some kind of a big gold star for these people.
We should. We do a bunch of songwriter open mics. We do youth open mics throughout the year. So those are the things that we're not going to spell out individually. But of course, then we have the podcast tapings, and I don't know what did we do, about 13 so far this year.
Oh, we've done a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, a whole bunch, and we got at least 3 or more coming this year.
And then beyond that, there's so many ways that Pos Music Works is always putting our, reaching out into the community and helping connect people or helping other organizations put their events together. And your donations and your support and your participation makes this all a really fun way for us to get together all year round.
Yeah.
So if you donate this year, we have a blanket. It's a really nice fleece blanket that you'll be able to get for $150 or above. We're going to have a cool save the date calendar if you donate $50 or above. And then at $500, you'll get your choice of 2 tickets to any festival of your choice. And then if you donate $1,000, you'll get a season pass to every single event we do.
Yeah, that's we really appreciate your support, and so we want to say thank you in advance for any donations that you can make.
All these gifts and your thank you receipts will come out in January, and we can't wait to get 2026 started with all of y'all.
Here we go.
Back to the local honeys on the guest list.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. I've noticed a couple of things that are really, when I first saw that you were coming, I didn't know yet who you were, and Garrett had found your music and loved it, and so I got introduced to you here last year at the festival. So, but I expected bluegrass, and it's not bluegrass. And in fact,
that's what everybody expects.
Right?
There's a banjo in the band. That's
right.
what everybody's like. That's a bluegrass band.
Yeah, I mean, and you sound like you're going to maybe play bluegrass.
Yeah,
I don't know, or Southern rock or something. But it has kind of a Celtic vibe, which I assume comes from the hills as well, or is that something separate, or almost military kind of sound, like a kind of, the drum, especially. I'm picking up like a.
Sure. Yeah. Well, especially that last song. I mean, it was about my grandfather's military history. So having that kind of marchy thing to send you along, it just reminds you of the Navy or whatever. But definitely, I mean, we have Celtic influences. Linda and I met at a university in Kentucky called Morehead State University, and I'll spare you all the details, but she was in the jazz program studying electric bass. She's a great electric bass player. And I was in the pre-veterinary medicine program. I dropped that pretty quick, and she also discovered that we met at a program at the university called the Kentucky Center for Traditional Music. And traditional music is an umbrella term that includes Celtic, folk, old-time music, bluegrass music, blues, early jazz, jug band, and even some original music, as well as like protest music, like the folk revival of the 60s and stuff like that. So you're learning music theory and history and like comprehension, and you're also being put in ensembles just like they do at jazz schools, and you're being put in a bluegrass band. And so my very first band I was ever in my life was through that university, and Linda was also in that band. We were in the old time string band together. And so that's where the roots of the Local Honeys started, in roots music at school. And so yeah, we definitely studied, and that's like, Shirley Collins, she was a prominent English folk singer, and we've discovered Irish folk singers and balladeers and stuff like that we're very drawn to, and we've been lucky to go overseas several times and play that music, or try to play that music. Playing a jig on a banjo, the style that I play is not, it doesn't sit out well for you, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Okay.
it's so there's lots of influences, and before we came there and just got immersed in traditional music, have since discovered, just hanging out and talking and touring, and that we had similar influences. Linda was a huge Jimi Hendrix fan. I was a huge Nirvana fan. I listened to lots of 90s grunge. We both loved Neil Young. We both loved Bob Dylan. Like, there was all these things that all kind of overlapped, and so our tastes have kind of molded around that, all of that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're on to song 4. Okay.
This song is called Throw Me in the Thicket When I Die. My favorite horse is buried on this farm. We would ride amongst the orchard rows and be scared of snakes together. I was riding high from toes to crown, my head held up, my heels thrust down. That's the way I carry myself today. Throw me in the thicket when I die. Let the earth reclaim my body, let the worms devour my insides. Fed me now for oh so long. I'll feed it for days bygone, and for all that's worth to you, I bet the farm. My daddy said he'd die upon his farm, for the time even closer to the Lord's foreclosure. His soul dispersed along this ground. Somebody hauled him into town. Still I place little tractors on his grave. Throw me in the thicket when I die. Let the earth reclaim my body. Let the worms devour my inside. It's fed me now for oh so long. I'll feed it for days bygone, and for all that's worth to you, I'd bet the farm. To nurse the trees your baby's graft. The graveyard's getting overrun these days.
So throw me in the thicket when I die. Let the earth reclaim my body. Let the worms devour my insides. It's fed me now for oh so long. I'll feed it for days bygone. For all that's worth to you, I'd bet the farm. For all that's worth to you, I'd bet the farm.
So I'll ask the obvious question: who wrote that song? You wrote it. Okay, very good. I can. It's you're. I would have thought that you wrote all the song. Your voice really, and back both of you, but your voice really takes ownership of what you're singing, and that's not always the case. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I think it was, bring it back to Peggy Seeger. I'm pretty sure it was Peggy Seeger that said, "The songs on earth that I sing are mine."
Okay.
Is basically the quote. That's a heavy paraphrase, I'll tell you, but that's what she was getting to. And I think that we both, we really try to bring songs to the table. Number one, we don't sing shit we don't like, but we absolutely love to take on a song that is so deeply connected to us in some way. So I'm glad that translates through. I think that there's something about the songs that you bring in and that you share with other people, whether you've penned it or not, it does become your own in some way. So that's really neat that it somehow translated.
Yeah. So is there a process between you? Like if you're going to write together, like do you say, hey, I have this idea, I've been trying to write it, I can't get it? Or is it like, hey, let's write a song about Papa?
We both have totally different trains of thoughts whenever it comes to that. For a very long time in my songwriting practice, I was like, I'm going to write a song about this, and here's the parts. I would kind of draft it out, like an essay or like a report or something like that, and I'd be like, this is a part about that, this is a part about this, this versus that. And I would be very methodical about it and very sequential, right? The story had to go in time, like right. True to the story. Linda, the way she writes a song is she sits down with a guitar or an instrument and she just starts singing words that don't go together, words that don't make any sense, not words. You know what I mean? Like she just will come up with a melody. She's a melody first kind of person, right? And then she'll fit words in there, and just by singing that kind of nonsense, just to kind of get the melody stuck in your head, you kind of find out what's, as a friend of ours used to say, you find out what's laying on your liver. You know what I mean? And that's what comes out. And so, like, throw me in the thicket when I die, it's a very similar thing. That's another phrase that her mom used to say. Better than I deserve, my papa said all the time. It soaks into your bones. And throw me in the thicket when I die was something that Linda's mom said. So out of nowhere, that made it into a melody. And then we both have our own strengths. Like she has a great ear for melody and for hook. I have a good ear for rhythm and lyrical things. So we don't sit down together and go, we don't agree on everything. That's just the simple truth of it. Right. We've been singing together for almost 15 years now. It's a sisterhood. So if you have a sister, how well do you agree with her, right? And so we have to, it's a give and take thing. Like, I know that you're good at this. I know that I like what you bring to this, so I'm going to trust you on that kind of thing.
Do you feel comfortable just making suggestions about a song that someone's, like you threw a bridge into that one? I mean, is that like, would you be comfortable saying, hey, this song could use a bridge? Is that the kind of thing?
For sure. Okay. Yeah, because it's songwriting can be a very solo kind of thing. You have to be careful about you can't attack things. You critique things in a way that's like, I'm not trying to change your story or anything or how you feel or your emotion about that, but let's think about that vocal flip that you're doing there, or let's think about how that melody, or maybe go to a minor chord or something like that. Just little things like that, because you have to let somebody say what they're trying to say, you know.
Well, in your case, you're going to be singing these songs together, so you actually, I mean, maybe you deserve input, I guess, because you're like, I got to sing this song for the next 15 years.
Yeah, we kind of individually bring songs to the table, and then we edit and bring them to life together.
Gotcha.
And that's a special thing. We're not actively trying to not write songs together from inception, and that will happen at some point. But this is just how our process has happened thus far. But we're constantly trying to like reinvent the way that we approach things and the way that we write and play our instruments. You know, we're just constantly trying to get better at what we do.
Cool. Well, it's working so far. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. You're listening to The Guest List, presented by Poss Music Works. We have the local Honeys here from Kentucky. They've been performing at the Summer Sundown Music Festival, and they performed on the main stage last night. It was a great show, and for those of you who got to see it, expressing their gratitude and appreciation. Tell us about this last song before we get into it, I guess.
Well, I just wanted to take a quick minute, just because this is a podcast, and I don't know if it's a visual thing, but would you all please help us welcome our band, who has been supporting us for almost 3 years now, so on fiddle and electric guitar from Flat Bottom, Kentucky. This is Don Rogers. On the drum kit from Ona, West Virginia, Max Nolte playing with us. And on the low end, playing the electric bass from Rush, Kentucky, this is Chris Justice. Singing with me is my best good friend in the whole wide world from Woodford County, Kentucky. This is Linda Jean Stokley. And my name is Montana Hobbs. I'm from Lee County, Kentucky. And thank you all so much for having us. Thank you for having us on the guest list.
It's been our pleasure.
It's a special guest list. Super special guest list. And thank you all for attending Summer Sundown and organizing Summer Sundown and just being a part of this music and arts community. It matters to create a scene where people can share their words and share their art. So thank you all for welcoming us into your party.
All right, we're gonna do an oldie but a goodie. This is one that we usually always don't leave somewhere without playing. This is a song that I wrote about, I don't know, 755 years ago or something like that. Me and Montana have sung this more than any other song we've probably ever sung in our lives.
And I think that what we were told was play your 5 most popular or fan favorite songs. And so that's kind of a mind warp when you have to think of it like that in a way, but immediately everybody was like, well, Cigarette Trees has to be on there, because we know that this is a song. We've been told, and we've seen it a lot, that this is a song that moves people, and they really relate to it and learn.
All right, I'll get out of the way.
But this is a song that I wrote after seeing an Apple Shop film. Is anybody familiar with Apple Shop? Y'all like movies and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. I love documentaries, and when I was in school, I was in a class that was the first of its kind, and it was an Appalachian landscape course, and it was about the formation of the Appalachian region, both like within topography and geologically, but then also its entire history to present day. And you know, you can't talk about Appalachia without talking about industry. And with industry comes a lot of opinions and extractions of all different kinds. But I had seen a film called Sludge, if you're interested. And if you're unfamiliar with what sludge is, it's a black tarry substance. It is the byproduct of mining bituminous coal and cleaning this coal. And a lot of times people don't know what to do with it, so they dam them up into man-made lakes and ponds. They call them sludge ponds. And it's no, it's not a big news flash when one of these dams will bust and kind of decimate an area. That happens all throughout anywhere that has coal extraction, which is devastating, and a lot of times it doesn't receive hardly any notice. And in the year 2000, in our home state, in Martin County, Kentucky, a sludge pond dam had busted and flooded through a deep mine and then flooded through and absolutely annihilated our home. And, you know, we're coming up on almost 26 years since this incident, and they are still cleaning up this mess. It has permeated through the soil, the waterways, the existing water systems. It's disgusting. People can't drink their own water. Runs black through the sink. And so this is a song that I wrote in response to that film because, as I said earlier, Kentuckians can be awful prideful and prideful to a fault. And we're also very, very lucky that we were surrounded by the music of people like Jean Ritchie, a young woman who paved a voice for women in music. And and Hazel Dickens and Alice Gerard, we grew up with those sorts of sheroes, and we didn't understand that you couldn't run your mouth about shit you didn't like. And so, just to put this in perspective, this sludge pond spill was 90 times larger than the Exxon Valdez spill that happened off the coast of Alaska in the 90s. And the coal company that was responsible for it was fined about $2,500 for ruining these people's lives. So I have no respect for those people. And we share this as often as we can to just keep sharing our stories, because I think it's important for people to gather and share our stories. Every single person has a right to tell their story, and it's important more so than ever for us all to be gathering in spaces like this. And we really appreciate your time and your consideration and for listening to us. We appreciate it. But this is called Cigarette Trees. This is for the people of Martin County and for anybody that's ever been faced with the devastations of extraction.
Boot and you tell me it's rain. You smell like money on land you reclaim. Top off that sludge pond, run black through our sinks. Heavy on the corn when we fill up our drinks. Dig out our coal, turn it into cash. Starve out our homelands, but keep your wallets fat. Shake down our houses with your big old drag lines and bury our families deep in them mines. Why not plant cigarette trees? They burn faster than you'd love these. Fill up them valleys, slurry them streams. Big old king coal, don't you lose any sleep. That big old mountain with your broad form deed. Kill animal and human, ever plant an herb. You can't help but leave the sky, we could still flip you the bird. What will we do with no mountains to climb? And you disappear when you shut down the mines. Pray God gives you mercy to the place you should dwell. You don't burn like coal when you're sentenced to hell. Why not plant cigarette trees? They burn faster than you'd love these. Fill up them valleys, slurry them streams. Big old king coal, don't you lose any sleep.
Y'all so very much. That's my bandmate, my best friend in the whole universe, playing the 5-string band. That's Montana Hobbs. My name's Linda Jean Stokley.
Thank you all for putting us on the guest list.
Well, there you have it. That's the Local Honeys live from Summer Sundown 2025. We thank them for a great show, and wow, we hope you enjoyed it.
That was fun. Hey, speaking of fun, what are you doing Sunday, Garrett?
Well, we got a big party on Sunday up at Village Wine on November 16th, 2025, and it's going to involve singing along with the community on some songs you guys already know. You know, there's going to be a song book to help you along if you don't know the words. But the big part is the soup potluck.
Soup potluck. It's going to be like several soups, many soups.
And you can enter your own soup into the competition for the Golden Ladle, which is the winner of the best soup.
Man, this is going to be a lot. We did this last year, and it was a ton of fun.
Well, so there's going to be music, fun, food, a warm place for you to, you know, come in off the brand new winter we're all of a sudden having. And
Yeah.
you're going to start our kickoff for the 2025 end of year fundraiser.
You know, some people last year, they just brought checks. We didn't ask them to, but they just brought checks. They said, we just want to get this out of the way. And so they brought checks, and it was really cool to get the fundraiser started that way. But, you know, just come and have fun. It's $10, I think, for all you can eat, all the soup you could eat.
Wow. And we got some more episodes of the podcast coming up we'd love to tell you about. We're going to have Sarah Beatty in 2 weeks it'll be coming out on the 25th. And then we'll be taping on the 23rd for Alex Taylor of Chain Station.
That's right. That's going to be at Village Wine. Come, and you can come and be part of that.
Yeah, downtown Effingham on the 23rd of November. We got Alex Taylor. What time does that start?
3:00.
And we can't wait to have Alex. He's going to be a hoot. And then we're going to be recording on the 10th of December up in the loft at Village Wine.
Yep.
With Hunter Peebles from St. Louis.
Yep.
Hunter put on one of the best shows of Summer Sundown this year, and man, their band rocks.
They're fantastic. Yeah.
So he's going to bring a
can't
stripped down version of his songs, him on acoustic guitar, and can't wait to talk to Hunter. We got plenty more episodes of the podcast coming at you after that, but that's the first 4. It's going to be a great kickoff to the season. Thank you for being here.
I think we should invite these people to your birthday party.
Ooh, okay. Well, on the 26th at the Village Wine in downtown Effingham.
Yeah.
It's going to be Garrett Burris, that's me, with Time to Kill. That's my band. Bill Poss, that's you.
Yeah.
And the Useful Tools.
That's you.
I'm also that band. And your brother, Larry, and Britt, his wonderful wife, and our great friend Britt. The LP and the Honeybee kicks off the night.
Yeah. And JJ will be there. We'll have some love seat.
What a night. So come out at 7 o'clock on the night before Thanksgiving. If you're in the Effingham area for the holidays, we'd love to see you there. And we've got plenty more at postmusicworks.com. And we hope you follow along with this season of the guest list. Subscribe, tell a friend, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.